What's up everyone, welcome to the 5th tutorial in our Pandas course. Here we're going to work a little bit with date ranges, and this will be a good chance just to get to know the date type a little better, as well as create ranges of dates. So we're going to cover creating date ranges, and then getting date values from date ranges. And then we'll finish up here with just getting various components of date ranges. So before we get started, you might be asking why we kind of covering this, what's the point, and why we're inserting it here. Well, the reason we're going over this is because very often with real data, especially when you're dealing with many data points over time, you will be using date time values as your indexes. So I think it's important to get used to working with date ranges, because very likely if you're using pandas in kind of real world applications where you're dealing with date specific data, you will be using date time values as your indexes. Okay, so it's just going to be a little bit of exposure. We're not going to dive too deep into this topic. Now let's go ahead and get started in the code. Alright, so this is where we left off last time. We'd covered creating series from Python lists and then creating them from dictionaries using lists with indexes and NumPy arrays. So we'll get started with a new cell here. Just down at the bottom is fine, and this will be dates. Now there's a few ways in which we can create date ranges, although they're all done through PD or pandas, again, .date_range. Okay, and you can see if we open it up here, we can enter a start date, an end date, the number of periods we want, the frequency. We can also specify stuff like the time zone, whether we want to normalize those dates. We can add a name, closed, etc. Okay, so we'll be exploring a few different techniques. Now, one of the more common ones is just to specify the start date and then the number of periods that we want. Now, the start date is usually formatted like a year. So in this case, we'll just do 2020, and then the month preceded with a 0 if necessary. So like, let's say December would be 12, but let's say March, the current date, would be 03. Okay, and then let's say we want the first, we do 01 like this. So this represents March 3rd, or rather March 1st, so 03, 01, and then 2020 is the year. Okay, so let's say we want the first 10 days of March. Okay. For that, we're going to do something like periods is equal to 10. Now, it's not clear, if you've not used this before, what these periods are going to be. Is this going to be 10 years? This will be 10 days, 10 months, 10 minutes. Well, there's an easy way to find out, and that would be just to create a variable. So we'll just call this something like dates. And then we're just going to go ahead and print out dates. Now, the default value will be, or rather the default, I guess, period would be a single day. So in this case, this is giving us 10 days worth of date time values. Okay, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up until 10. You can see that the frequency defaults to be day, and then we're using a date time 64 as the data type. So this is going to be non-time zone specific. Okay, so that's cool, but what if we don't want to deal with day-specific data? What if we want the periods to be months, or years, or weeks? For that, we can add a frequency value. So let's say we did something like this. Dates is now going to be equal to, again, we'll do March 1st, because why not? If you want a different date, that's totally fine. We can do 10 periods as well if we want, but now we're going to add in a frequency. So the 10 periods are only as good as the frequency that we enter. Again, the default frequency is just going to be day, but we can modify that. So let's say we wanted months. So we want a 10 months worth of data. Okay, we can go ahead and run that. And you can see that, interestingly enough, this actually defaults to be the last value of the month. So rather than going straight to, from March 1st, this will actually go from March 31st. However, you can clearly see that we're getting 10 months. The month value is increasing by 1, whereas the day is just going to be whatever the last day of that month is going to be. Okay. Similarly, we can do, let's say we wanted hours. Okay, this will actually explicitly assign the hour value, which defaults to start at 0. Okay, so it'll be kind of 12 a.m. and then it would be 1, 2, 3, all the way up until 9 in this case. There's a few different frequencies we can use. If you want to get a full list of them, I suggest you look them up. But one of the really cool things we can do is we can actually not just say jump by 1 hour. Let's say we wanted every 4 hours. Okay. We can do that just by adding the multiple in front of the frequency that we want. So in this case, is jumping every 4 hours. Similarly, we could do like every 4 days, every 4 months, and so on and so forth. Now, generally speaking, we would have to add in a periods parameter here, because if we just said this is the start date and this is the frequency, well, we don't really know how many data points to produce. Do we produce 0 data points? Do we produce an infinite amount of data points? That's not really clear. We, at the very least, need a start date and an end date, or we need the number of periods or the number of points there should be. At least if we provide a start date and an end date, but not the number of periods, then we'll be able to say, okay, we're starting here, we're ending at that end date, and we know we're doing every 4 hours, so we'll just kind of fill in the values there. So actually kind of transitions nicely into the next way of creating some dates. That's going to be through the start and end dates. So we can create a date range here. Let's say we want the start date again. Let's just go with 2020-03-01, so March 1st. And then let's say we want to start with March 2nd, or rather end at March 2nd. So we're going to do 2020-03-02. Okay, so this is essentially going to be start one day and then end the next day. And I think I'm missing a value. Yes, I am. Okay. Good stuff. So again, even this isn't enough, because how many data points do we put? Are we doing minute data? In that case, it's going to be a lot of minutes. If we're doing daily data, there's only going to be like a couple of data points. If we're doing hourly data, there'll be that many data points, so on and so forth. So we can either enter the frequency that we want. So let's say we want the frequency to be, I don't know, let's do every 4 hours again. Okay, this should be able to fill in the values because it knows when it should start, when it should end, and it knows kind of the jump value. We can also replace this with a frequency. Okay, let's say we wanted, in this case, maybe 10 data points. It's going to evenly, oh, that actually shouldn't be frequency, it should be periods, say equal to 10. This will divide the start and end date and basically all the values in between into 10 periods. So we go, we can see that it's divided into, I guess, every 2 hours and 40 minutes. That makes sense, given 24 hours in a day. So you can see there's a variety of techniques we can use to create ranges of dates. Okay, it's really no limit as to what you can produce with these. Now, again, the main purpose of me bringing up this topic of dates is that we can use these as indexes into a pandas series. Okay, so let's say we wanted to create a series. I'm going to actually get rid of dates. Let's say we want to create a series here. Okay, it's going to be pandas.series. Okay, and this will just represent the values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But we want to add in the indexes that corresponds with some kind of a date range. So let's say we want 5 days worth of data. Okay, and we want whatever these numbers would represent, each one to be assigned to the corresponding date. So we're going to set dates equal to pandas.dateRange. Okay, an easy way to do this would be to just pick kind of the default setup, because that will give you daily frequency, and then we want 5 days worth of data. So then we can use the index values to be equal to our dates. We can go ahead, and actually there's no way of outputting that right now, so we're going to go ahead and print out our series. And you should see that we're using these as our indexes. So this is really cool. You'll very often see this if you're reading from CSVs, because a lot of pre-compiled datasets will have dates as the indexes. Now, the very last thing I want to cover with regards to dates is if we want specific values from them. Okay, so right now we have the year, we have the month, we have the day. Let's say we just want the day. For that, we're going to have to convert our series of date time values into just a regular pandas series, because this is actually a date range, not a series. It's a slightly different kind of data structure. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to say something like date series is going to be equal to a pandas series, which is going to pass in the dates. Okay, this is going to be our first 5 dates again. Okay, we can go ahead and let's say we can go ahead and print out the date series. I guess we might as well see what it looks like so. Okay, so we'll get rid of that print statement. Okay, so now you can see that this is a data type datetime64. It's being converted into a pandas series, whereas before it was a date range data structure. Okay, so they are very slightly different. Series is much more flexible than a date range. So again, let's say we just wanted the day values from these. Well, we can actually use the .dt kind of API or mini framework. So this will look a bit like this. Let's say we want the days. Okay, this is going to be our date series. Okay, and we're going to get the .dt, and then whatever we want. In this case, we can get day. We get day of the week, day of the year. We can get the hour. We get minute, microsecond, month, etc. There's a lot of different things we can choose from. So we're just going to go with day here. Okay, it's going to get essentially a series of just the days. And then maybe we want to print those out just to see what they look like. So now we're just getting the days again. You remember we started the 1st and ended at the 5th because we have 5 periods here. Okay, if you wanted the months, okay, that's going to be basically all the same value because they're all in March. The year will all be 2020, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see that this date time is the datetime data type is pretty powerful and it's pretty flexible. I definitely recommend you play around with this a little bit more, but don't spend too much time on it. It's not super vital to the rest of the course that you learn how to use all of the functionality that is here. Again, just kind of brought it up because you'll likely use date times as your indexes at some point when you're using pandas, and it's good to know kind of what to expect from them. Okay, so that's it for now. When we come back, we're going to be switching back to regular series, and we'll be working with guessing elements and slices from series. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.